Good morning or afternoon for those of you joining us from the East Coast. If you are here for the VIB Network webinar, Social Media, the New Digital Handshake, you are in the right spot. We'll give another 30 seconds here. We still have a few people logging on, so I'm going to go ahead and mute myself real quick for 30 more seconds, and then we will kick off today's presentation. Thank you. All right, good morning or afternoon. You are here for the VIB Network Social Media, the New Digital Handshake webinar. For those of you joining us for the first time, the VIB Network, we are a nonprofit organization that tries to help veteran businesses and veteran business owners grow and succeed in their business. This particular topic has been on our agenda for a few months now, but has become particularly important due to recent events. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you've been living in a cave. So this is especially important now when we are not doing face-to-face networking, and we are going to be relying for at least the foreseeable future on a lot more digital interaction and digital means to communicating how our businesses can still succeed in the marketplace. So if you're new to the VIB, please check out our directory. It's free. Get your business on there. When our corporate and government supporters come to us looking for veteran businesses, that is the first place we go. We also post opportunities on our VIB opportunity board and sign up for the newsletter. You'll get information on upcoming opportunities, events, and other things such as this webinar. And finally, right now, October 12th and 13th, we are scheduled to have our annual national conference where our speaker today actually presented last year in 2019 in San Diego. I know things such as big events like this are all kind of tentative and TBD and potentially postponed. As it stands right now, we are still eyeballing October 12th and 13th. Any information about changes to that we will be sending out. But as it stands right now, we are still on for those dates. With that, before we get into today's topic, I would like to just briefly mention the SBA disaster loan program for economic injury disaster loans. There are a lot of different programs that are going to be coming out. The stimulus bill that's supposed to be voted on today. I haven't seen any updates this morning, but this is an existing SBA program. It's been on the books. All of the regulations on how it works and how it can help businesses impacted, all of that is already in place. The SBA can start processing these loans today. This is an existing program and is being utilized. And so a quick overview of the program. There are some credit requirements. The interest rates are capped out at 4%. Probably you can get better than that nowadays, given the existing circumstances. Maximum of 30-year and a maximum limit of $2 million. Again, this is an existing program that's on the books. The other grant and direct lending programs that we've heard about in the recent stimulus bill, even those will take time to get up and running. So if you and your business needs money right now and your state has declared an emergency and your county has declared an emergency, then you could qualify for this type of information. The links are on your screen. We will be sending this information out. So please, if you need money, if you are looking for a loan to stay afloat during these crazy times that we're going through right now, the SBA has a lot of information on their website. You can reach out to their personnel. They're teleworking, last I heard, in most offices, but they are still answering their phones. They're still replying to emails. So we just wanted to put that out. We recently were reminded this by the SBA. So with that being said, I'd like to get into our topic for the day, social media, the new digital handshake. With our presenter today, Eric Wright. He's a PhD, veteran, founder, best-selling author, and keynote speaker. Goes by the name Doc. So Doc's a Navy veteran, founder of 3 companies, 1 nonprofit organization. As a veteran, he speaks our veteran lingo. He understands the things that we've been through, both as a service member wearing the uniform and as somebody trying to grow and succeed in business. And so with that, I would like to turn over our presentation to Doc. If you do have any questions, please type them into the chat box, and we will go ahead and answer those and address those questions at the end. Doc, with that, the floor is yours.
Right on, Cole. Thanks, brother. So excited to be here with you and with Rebecca and with everybody else. So to get us started, gang, what do you see right now on your computer monitor? What are those? And we'll let some chats come up here. That's right. What you're looking at, gang, are brands or logos. And how many of them can you identify? Let's run some of them up in the chat. What brands can you identify on this slide? What are some ones that really resonate with you? All right, yeah, so we have what? We have the Keebler Elf. We have Ronald McDonald. We have one of the famous M&M's peanut style, right? We have the Jolly Green Giant. We have the Morton Salt Gal. We have Toucan Sam from Fruit Loops there. So these are immediately recognizable examples of a brand. And many of you, if you're like a lot of the folks, that patron certain brands, are looking at some of these and you actually have feelings invoked. Oh, I hate green beans, or oh my gosh, my doc says I can't use salt anymore. Like I haven't seen Morton salt in the house in a decade, or like whatever, right? So you literally, the brand creates a feeling inside of you. It may even, those feelings may even drive behavior. And if you're like me, I'm going to date myself now, but if you're like me, some of these brands have been with you since you were a little kid. I still buy Planters peanuts. Why? Because I had a little Planters stuffed doll when I was a kid, right? So it's still decades later, 4 or 5 decades later, influences which kind of peanut I buy when I'm at the grocery store. And that's what it's all about, gang. That's what we're here to talk about today, is how do you consciously engineer a brand that literally resonates with your customers for decades and influences their buying behavior? Because we're in this as a small business to keep the lights on and the doors open, especially in times like this, okay? So that's what we're going to talk about today, is really your brand is the link between you and your business and your audience, okay? So your social media brand, and I'm going to talk primarily from the standpoint of LinkedIn today, and I'll share with you in a minute why. But and Rebecca will augment with extra information regarding other platforms because she's a guru at all the other stuff, right? So specifically what we're going to cover today. Now, as Cole said, these slides will be available to you. I think the recording will be available to you. You can watch all this stuff at your leisure. Hit play, hit stop, hit fast forward, hit rewind, hit whatever you want to do. I'm also going to share with you at the end of this my contact information, right? So that you have direct access to me to help you implement stuff we talk about today, to help you increase your brand's awareness using LinkedIn. So you do what? So you increase your revenue and increase your company's longevity, okay? I only took off my uniform. I did not take off my oath. I am here to help other veteran-owned businesses crush it, all right? We got to do this together as a team. Okay, so what does you and your business mean in regards to the context of what we're doing today? Okay, your story, which is about you and your business, has to be targeted to your audience. I'm sure many of you think of, you hear advertisements on the radio driving to work or whatever before COVID hit. And you're thinking, wow, man, so I'm hearing a brand story about this or that, or the creator created this or whatever. And you're like, I don't even wear my shirt untucked. So the story doesn't resonate. So what I'm saying is that the story is about you, but it has to resonate with your target audience. So we're gonna look at how do you develop a story that does that. We're gonna look at your value proposition statement. we're going to look at your purpose, and we're going to look at your philosophy. The philosophy that you put forth into the universe to inform your customers about who you are, what you do, why you do it, and what's in the relationship with you for them. That's what they care about. They don't care about you. They care about what's in it for them. Your philosophy is based on your beliefs and the sound bites that you use to communicate those beliefs articulately. And the analogy I want you to think of there is Donald Miller, the author of Story Brand, Building a Story Brand, has this amazing analogy. When I land on your website, when I meet you, it just happened 2 weeks ago. I meet a veteran-owned business owner at a conference. They say, "What do you do?" And he starts with, "Well, it's kind of complex." Now, no harm, no foul. I get that all the time. I meet dozens of business owners every week. The reality, though, is if that's how you open your story, if you don't get right into what you do, who you do it for, how it benefits them, and you start with, "Oh, it's kind of complex," man, I just shut down. And here's literally what happens. When our brains process information, when we think, it literally burns calories, right? So the idea is your sound bites have to be clear and concise so that you don't put people on mental treadmills and make them burn a ton of calories to figure out who you are, what you do, what's in it for them, right? Because if they figure that out really quickly, then they can make a buying decision. And if your brand is in their hearts and minds, they can make buying decisions for decades to come, like Planters Peanuts, okay? So that's your story. The brand is the link that connects you. So the images of your brand, the colors, the shapes, the logos, what your LinkedIn profile looks like and feels like, the kind of message it sends visually, okay? And then your audience, because it is about them. It's about them. It's about what they need. It's about their behavior. And frankly, them trading their dollars and currency to you for your goods and services. So your business revenue grows and your business stays in business for decades to come. Okay. So number 3 then is about them. It's your audience. And in marketing, they talk about audience members as avatars, okay? So like your picture of you on your LinkedIn profile or whatever, like how do you represent yourself digitally and in the media, social media space? So we want to talk about demographics. We want to talk about the segments. We want to talk about needs and wants and benefits. And I'm going to show you examples of all of this stuff so that it's not some, "Hey, Doc, that was kind of great. It was esoteric. It was mildly entertaining, but dude, I don't know how to put any of that into practice." I'm going to show you examples so that you then have concrete things to think about as you're thinking about your brand. Okay. So who am I and what do I think I know and why would you even care and what makes me think that I have anything of value for you? Well, here's what I will tell you. Way back in the day, you heard Cole mention service. I was a welder. I'm a blue collar guy. If I don't stand up straight and dress nice, man, I literally drag my knuckles and use them for locomotion, okay? If I can figure this out as a small business owner, so can you. I've paid a lot of great money for coaches and people to help me and whatever. I'm sharing all of it with you today. I have started 3 businesses and 1 nonprofit. The first business didn't use LinkedIn because Vice President Gore hadn't created it yet, right? There was no LinkedIn, so it failed miserably because I couldn't connect with my audience and drive goods and services sales. So I'm going to show you how I've created 2 successful companies, one of them multi-million, and I'm going to show you how I took a nonprofit from founding to IRS tax status 501c3 to profitable in the black, making money for generations to come to deliver those goods and services in less than 24 months. So when I use LinkedIn, it works. When I don't use LinkedIn, it doesn't work. Okay. All right. So think about this for a second. Think about your own business. How much do you spend on advertising? What type of advertising do you do? What if I told you that what I'm sharing with you today, my business has a 38% LinkedIn source revenue generation? I don't spend any money on advertising, some gear and equipment to make some videos and put out some posts about my philosophy and my sound bites. I don't do any print media advertising stuff, so I save a ton of money. And oh, by the way, I've got a 38% word of mouth referral rate because of LinkedIn, okay? Think about the dollars that could save you and or the dollars that could make you in your own businesses, especially as Cole mentioned, when we're under this crazy COVID-19 pandemic right now. We've never been as globally or as socially connected as we are now. And this thing is just causing catastrophic ripples across our current infrastructure that we will probably fill for decades, okay? So I want to show you how to use LinkedIn to do all this stuff. The way that you're going to do that is you're going to establish a clear, concise brand that's meaningful and memorable to your audience, okay? All right. So what are the learning objectives today then, Doc? Well, I'm gonna describe for you just briefly the landscape of today's small business environment, okay? And hopefully that will impress upon you why you need to stand out and why you need to be memorable and how that can help you drive increased revenue through increased demand, which increases your small business's longevity. That's what we're doing it for, right? Leaving a legacy for our kids, our grandkids, for our communities, whatever, okay? We're gonna learning objective number 2, learn to create a unique business brand. We're number 3 learning objective. We're gonna learn how to use LinkedIn to emotionally and psychologically connect with well-defined customer segments to drive desired behavior and create fans. Okay, I just got done reading a book by Damian Phillips, and he basically talks about there's brand awareness. Hey, I know about Coke. There's brand preference. Hey, I'd rather drink a Coke than a Pepsi, but if you got Pepsi, that'll work. And then there's brand advocacy, brand loyalty. Hey, I don't patron restaurants that don't serve Coke. That's the kind of fan you want. That's the kind of customer you want. That's how your business stays in business for a long time, right? Okay. And then, unlike a lot of other, hey, do this LinkedIn stuff, I'm a business guy. I'm a welder. I read a blueprint. I put 2 pieces of metal together. I come out with a product on the other end of it. Simple. I'm going to show you some easy metrics that you can use to assess whether any of the stuff that you see here do practice today has any effect on your marketing and your branding. Because if it doesn't, stop doing it. If it does, do more of that stuff that works, okay? So we're gonna show you how to literally assess your LinkedIn profile when we're done. Okay, so let's talk about the small business landscape. This is gonna be kind of rapid fire, so if you're trying to take notes or something, I apologize, but remember, you'll see this later and you can watch the recording, whatever, and jot this down. But at last count, according to the Small Business Administration, whom we just got introduced to earlier, there's about 30.2 million small businesses in the country, okay? We employ about 47% of the nation's workforce, literally half, okay? We create 6 trillion with a T, like super big, huge numbers, 6 trillion with a T in revenue. This is small businesses, gang. What does small business mean? It's usually defined in annual revenue and or size of employees. Check this out. Of that 30 million, do you know that 24 million of us have less than 500 employees? 90% of us have less than 20 employees. That's insane. That's a big number of small teams struggling to deliver goods and services, create demand, hold it all down, be successful, grow their business into something that is survivable, okay? So who's in that category? Well, this audience on this call today, coaches, consultants, musicians, music teachers, authors, painters, lawyers, attorneys, HR professionals, dentists, like, real estate agents, okay? LinkedIn gurus, right? Now, for this audience, of that 30 million, about 2.73 million of them are veteran business owners. They're us. We employ about 5.8 million people, and we generate about 1.14 trillion of that revenue. So we are a small demographic, but man, do we have a huge impact. It's my fervent belief that you should have the largest impact you possibly can. Why? We've got kids to put in college, we've got bills to pay, we've got employee payroll to make, we have communities to support with our taxes, we have revenue to share with each other to create a vibrant business community. That's why, okay? You deserve all of the breaks and the returns on your hard work that you can possibly get. That's why I'm here today. That's why Rebecca and Cole have me out. Okay. So the point is, gang, if you're not using LinkedIn, there's no way you're standing out among 660 million other LinkedIn users and or 30 million other small to mid-sized businesses. So how do you use LinkedIn to give you a bullhorn or a platform to access that kind of productivity? Okay, that's what we're doing here today. 80% of the business done, B2B business done, is on LinkedIn. LinkedIn claims, according to their website, LinkedIn claims to have a decision maker in every single Fortune 500 company as a user of their platform. Okay? 36 billion impressions per month happen on LinkedIn. That's 468 billion a year. If your business and your story that resonates with clearly discernible target audience members in your consumer segment, your marketplace, gang, they see you, they hear you, they're familiar with you, they like it, the story resonates because you've engineered all of this to talk directly to them, to serve them where they live, work, play. That's what you want. Okay? That's why LinkedIn, and that's why LinkedIn for small businesses. All right. So the first thing that you need to do, remember the link, you, your brand, your audience, is you've got to define your story. The framework that I like to use is called a value proposition statement. Okay, this is the bedrock or the cornerstone of your story. So how do you craft this thing? So first of all, it should be a paragraph or less. I'm talking 3 to 5 sentences or less. Secondly, if you can get it down to 140 characters, even better. Why? Because that's the length of a headline on your LinkedIn profile. Okay. So if you can dial somebody from your target listening audience into your story and it resonates with them and you can do it in a minute or less with 140 characters or less, you didn't put them on a treadmill. They know who you are, they know what you do, they know what benefit they get out of a relationship with you, and all they got to do is click on the see more, read more, get more, buy your button more. That's all they've got to do. Okay. So this is gold, this value proposition story. Okay, so here is what mine looks like or sounds like for an illustration. And then we'll use that to unpack the power of it. Okay, my value proposition statement that's less than 140 characters, you can look at my LinkedIn profile right now and see it, is veteran, founder, author, keynote speaker. There's who I am and what I do that helps military veterans achieve meaningful, lucrative post-service careers. You know exactly who I am. You know exactly what I do. If you just heard yourself in that, you want to read more, see more, watch more, learn more, whatever. And the cool part is you are opening that storyline in your own head. You will now move mountains to close that storyline. Hey, I think Doc can help me be more successful, get a meaningful career, become a lucrative career person, start my own business. Gee whiz, he's talking right to me. This guy can help me get what I want. There's the key, gang. There's the magic. I've thought about my audience so deeply. I've lived them so deeply, right? That I created companies to help them realize success. It's all about them. So it's my story, but my story isn't about me at all. My story is about the folks listening so that they literally can see and hear themselves in that value proposition statement and they decide to take action. I don't have to yell at them, scream at them, show them another ad. I don't have to do any of that stuff. Okay? All right. So it's about them. Here's another fine point. Let's start talking about the human psychology that really makes us tick and drives our behavior. right? Because don't we make decisions based on behavior? Sometimes you hear we make decisions with our heart and then we later justify them with our head, okay? Really, all we're doing is we buy, we behave, we act on emotion. Very powerful. That's predicated on our psychology. We justify our actions after the fact with logic, with facts, with data, with brochures, with commercials, like with whatever, right? Customer reviews, whatever. Okay, so we're literally trying to talk to our customers at the lower brainstem. How do I drive behavior? Now look, some of you right now are thinking, gee whiz, Doc, that is manipulation, son. And I would argue with you that if that's what you're thinking, that would be ridiculous and that would be bad. And gee whiz, Doc, nobody wants to partake in that. And I would say the same thing. Here's the difference. It's influence if what we're doing benefits the people we're doing it for, especially if it benefits them first. So here's what I do for a living. If you think that can help you because you've determined it can help you and you reach out to me, I'm not manipulating anything. You of your own volition reached out to me because I can help you get what you want. Does that make sense? Again, man, we're just trying to keep this at like really basic level, right? To help our customers get help using our goods and services. We have to know what those are and we have to know who they are. Okay. So we also, I would encourage you to use very positive language in your VPS and your story, okay? Think about it. When you go to see your surgeon and he suggests or she suggests some surgical procedure, they don't talk about the mortality statistics. They talk about the success statistics. They frame the topic in a positive manner. Does that make sense? Okay, so I help military veterans achieve meaningful, lucrative post-grad. I don't sell it to you. It doesn't happen overnight. You got to bust your tail. Like, you know what I mean? The stuff I'm sharing with you now. It's easy to sit here and listen to it, write it down. If you don't do anything with it, it's not going to do you any good. It's not going to bear any fruit. You got to do the planting and the pruning and the gardening and the watering and the tending and the whatever. Okay. All right. So the first thing is if you make it about them first, you invoke the law of reciprocity. That means we all do mental accounting. If Cole does something for me first that is valuable to me, I kind of in my head keep check that I owe him a debt, don't I? I need to make sure that I make good if I ever get a chance to help Cole out, right? That's called the law of reciprocity. We're social critters. We've been wired that way since, we were getting chased by dinosaurs. The only way to live through a T-Rex attack is to have as many of us as possible gathered around with a bunch of spears taking care of each other. He may get one or two of us, but he can't get 97 of us. Literally, that's where all this wiring came from, okay? Okay, so we're gonna make it about them first. That's reciprocity. We're going to use language that's very positive. That's framing. Also, since it's about them and we're using positive words to help them, it's familiar to them. Okay, so there is a self-serving bias, a psychological concept. We like people that can help us and we like people that are like ourselves, okay? We're also priming. Here's another psychological component to all of this, gang. We're priming their behavior with our positive language and our positive imagery and presenting, the benefits that they're going to get, okay? And the familiarity between us. We're actually priming them to want to behave or act on the feelings that they're experiencing because it is helpful to them. They do get benefit out of it. It's influence, not manipulation, okay? And then finally, it really is about them first, right? So there's persuasion theory, okay? It's about them. They are making the decision to seek you out based on the deep resonance created in your story. Does that make sense? So they're literally acting on their own behavior and their own beliefs and their own feelings. It has nothing to do with you. Again, gang, it has nothing to do with you. It has to do with them and what they need to get out of it, okay? So that is your value proposition statement. Now, it should be short, it should be concise, and it should say who I am, what I do, how I do it, if you can fit it in, and what benefit the person receiving the goods or services get. Simple. Okay. If you think about who your audience is, you'll know what benefits they get from that. You'll know how to take care of them. You'll have some idea what words to use and how to frame it positively. So for example, every single one of my LinkedIn connections, we're over 18,000 now, 17, 18,000, whatever it is now. Every single one of those people in my network fits into one of the segments that I can help as a veteran, as a business person, as a mentor and a coach, as a business professor. So if you're a business executive and or a student of business, because I used to teach at university, you're in one of my buckets. If you're an HR person or an executive, you're in, because we have the same concerns: the economy, hiring, staffing shortages, taxes, politics. We have all the same concerns. I can help you and you can help me. And that's what LinkedIn is, gang. It's an education and referral network in digital space. That's all it is, right? It's a nuclear business card. That's what it is, right? Okay, so another segment, veterans. If you're a vet, you're in. If you're a milspouse, you're in. If you're a Navy mom, Gold Star mom, like, you're in, right? Because I can help you and you can help me and my network can help you, okay? There has to be something that a meaningful relationship can be predicated on. Why? Business is about relationships. Relationships are about trust. Trust is built on me delivering to you what I said I would, to your expectations, right? So that you trust me to deliver what I said I could. You trust me to do what in the relationship, what I told you I could do, and vice versa, okay? Another thing, event planners, okay? I speak, I have books. If you want me to come speak to your organization, I want you in my network. Now, here's the magic, gang, and we'll talk more about this in engagement in a minute, but here's the magic. Imagine a network full of people who like you, they like your stuff, the story resonates with them, and they talk about you and your goods and your services and the benefits in their lives without you ever spending a dime or asking them to or telling them to or whatever. You create people that only go to restaurants that have Coke because they only drink Coke. I mean, literally, you could create behavior like that. Okay, so that's what we're doing here today. I'm going to show you some tactical stuff that you can do on your own profile and in your own profile's visibility on LinkedIn that'll help you do this, okay? All right. So you now have your story. You have your value proposition statement, paragraph or less, okay? And a great tool that you can use is on YouTube, you can find a video called How to Create a One-Liner, and it's by a guy named Donald Miller, okay? Great video. It'll really help you dial this in, okay? Now, what's your philosophy? So your philosophy is 6, 8, 10, 15 things that you believe beyond a shadow of a doubt. It's what you believe. You then reduce that to a couple sound bites. So think of Tony Robbins, think of Jim Rohn, think of Grant Cardone, think of Gary Vaynerchuk, think of any of the greats that you know. If you watch more than about an hour, hour and a half of their stuff on YouTube, they start to repeat themselves. Why? Because they have a philosophy. Here's what Tony Robbins believes. Here's what Eric Wright believes. Here's what Gary Vee believes. And those are the things that they share with their audience over and over and over, because the reality is there's 660 people swimming around, million people swimming around the sea of LinkedIn. It's arrogant almost to think that somebody knows who you are. That may be the first time they've ever seen you or heard you. They'd be able to, in a split second, figure out whether you can help them or not and whether they believe what you believe or not. So this philosophy and the sound bites you codify it in and share are what creates our engagement, which is what we're going to talk about next. And engagement's where the magic happens. Engagement's where we start to form the relationship that allows me to deliver to you what you want me to, so I can start to build trust, so you can start to advocate for me, my business, my goods, and my services, okay? Okay, so for example, I believe, because I spent 8 years in 2 uniforms and I've spent 20 plus years in business, I believe beyond a shadow of a doubt that military veterans are uniquely positioned to run projects very, very well, run teams very, very well, and run businesses very, very well. I believe those things to my core. I'm a welder and I've done all of them. So all the first sergeants, all the gunnery sergeants, all the master sergeants, all the E7 and above military leaders responsible for projects, all the 2.7 million business owners that are veteran business owners. The evidence supports what I believe firmly. Military veterans make great intra and entrepreneurs. Done. Part of my philosophy. So now you can go watch 87 videos of mine if you really wanted to do that kind of stuff to yourself, right? But I guarantee you, after you watch about 10, you get it. You know who I am. You know what I believe. You know why I believe it. You'll start to hear sound bites repeat because I'm edutaining, what I call educating and informing. I'm edutaining my audience in a very targeted, specific manner with very targeted, specific, positive language that if they want any of the benefits they think I can provide to them, they come seek me out, okay? So your body of work is your philosophy. What do I mean? What I mean is 6 to 8 to 10 to 12 things that you believe to your core, down to your soul. And then you're going to distill those into 2, 3, 4 dozen sound bites that support your value proposition statement, right? Now, here's the magic. Here's where we're going to lay the foundation to create the platform of engagement. Okay, we're going to write our philosophy down in what LinkedIn calls long posts or articles. Okay, I just wrote one a couple of weeks ago. I posted it, got 97 views. I posted 4 different videos on the stuff I talked about in it. Each video got over 8,000 views. I still wanted to put my philosophy, the tenet of what I believe, out into the universe so people could read it if they want. Right? But then I shot videos off of it. So you want to post long form content, i.e. articles, to codify the tenets of your philosophy. That's step 1. Step 2 then, gang, is you want to come up with your 2, 3, 4 dozen sound bites. You then methodically and consistently, I spend about 4 to 6 to 10 hours a week doing LinkedIn, release what I call drip videos that are 3 minutes or less, and they're only about one thing. Hey, in this video, you're going to learn about bang, boom, done. Start, stop, caption, you know what you just learned. Or short post. People will still read text, but only if they can see the end of it coming. If there's a see more clickable thing, or they open it, it's a wall of text, too long, did not read, bang, I'm off, I'm to another website. So 300 words or less, couple paragraphs, lots of white space, short post. Hey, you know, I was thinking about today, you say what you were thinking about. Here's what it means to you, network, bang. Now you're bringing them value, and you know they're gonna look at it, read it, like it, because they're people that look at, read, and already like your stuff, and they're in your network, which means you can help them and they can help you. It's a relationship, okay? So short 3 to 5 minute videos. Now, Rebecca has a lot of expertise on this, like how to turn that stuff into like Instagram and Twitter and whatever. So Rebecca, I would love to have you speak with the folks about the other stuff, because Doc only knows how to spell LinkedIn.
Sure, no problem. So thank you, first of all, Doc. This is great information. So what he's telling you is exactly right. I mean, people nowadays don't have the time to, read thousands of posts all the times or anything. So you do want to make sure that your message is, clear and concise. And so what you can do is take what Doc's telling you, and you can put that to the other social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook for business, Twitter. There is also a thing that's called Hootsuite. And so if you don't have the time to do all of them, but some people who follow you on LinkedIn might not follow you on Facebook or it's a different audience. So you can use Hootsuite to put all of those together. There's also called Sprouts Social, which is also like Hootsuite as well. And so you can use either one of those. They're great to get your message out and make sure there's consistency throughout all the different social media platforms. I'm going to tell you one more other little secret, and I know that a lot of us, we're one-man, two-man shops, and we don't have a big, social media people or a graphic designers or anything like this. So this goes no further than this conversation. And so, but I want to tell you about, there's a company called, or a app called Ripple. It's RIPL.com. So what Ripple does is it makes you look as if you have an amazing graphic design team behind you. You just put a few little contents in there, some photos, and it will put it together for you. It'll ask you about your business. You can do the drip campaign with that as well. So if you have something that you want to introduce, it kind of gives you that professional edge, and it doesn't cost a lot of money. I think it's like $9 to $10 a month. And they have on Ripple as well, they have it can link to all your different social media platforms as well, and you can put those all out at the same time. So that's all I have. I know that Doc's still got a lot to go, so I'll interject every once in a while, but those are just some of the things that we use at the VIB, and each one of them is a little bit different. So go on, Doc.
All right. Hey, thanks, Rebecca. And Rebecca mentioned questions, gang. So, I'll be done with the content in about, 7 minutes, and then the rest of it is Q&A. And I also told Rebecca and Cole that as a way for me to demonstrate my gratitude for them asking me to come share this with you, I'll stay on to do Q&A until they kick me off. Okay. So, this is about you, and it's about your business, especially like Cole said up front during this trying time. Okay. We got to help each other keep revenue moving, keep each other employed, so we can pay taxes and get tests. And we just got to really help lift the economy right now. And small businesses are the engine, right? So if it's going to get done, we're going to do it. So anyway, so we've created our philosophy. It's what we think. It's what we think about. It's what we feel. It's why we feel it. It's who we help, why we help them. So now we want to create our brand. And I'm talking about the simple stuff. Now, I can't in an hour. I can't in a 4-hour workshop. This would take days for you to work with me on this stuff. And oh, by the way, I'm not claiming to be any kind of professional marketeer. Okay. I'm just telling you, this is all stuff that I think about with every single new business line, with every single new logo, with every single new, way to make revenue, with every single new product, good, or service. Okay. Create your brand. You basically are thinking about, how do I want somebody to feel about my brand, about my logo? Okay. For example, Vets 2 PM, red, white, and blue. It's outlined so it's easily identifiable on any color background. The font is a specific Rockwell bold condensed, and it's always that font. Always. You have to be consistent. Otherwise, I don't know who you are in 70 years when I'm buying peanuts like Planters. Okay. Tagline: we help military veterans achieve meaningful, lucrative post-service careers. I tell you who that company is right there. Okay. All right, so it's patriotic, okay? It's easily readable. You can make it small, you can make it big, you can put it on a t-shirt, you can put it on a hat, you can put it on a coffee mug, you can put it on a pin. It's still easily readable, okay? You need to think about, so here's what I want you to annotate. You need to think about the colors you use. So orange conveys one thing. The blue that LinkedIn chose to use conveys executive level things. That's why they made it that blue. It's for executives, it's for business people. So you need to think about your colors. You need to think about shapes. You need to think about fonts. Is it readable? Can I put it on a website? Can I, put it on a video, right? Like, you got to think about this stuff now, okay? How do I want people to look, think, and feel? All right? Okay. You want it to be simple and descriptive. Everything you do has to be as simple as you can make it. I'm not saying that you're not going to put somebody on a treadmill over this thing or that thing. If you can put them on a treadmill for 20 seconds and 27 calories, do that instead of 40 minutes at 2,500 calorie burn. Just make them spend as few calories as possible is your objective. Now, how do you put it all together on a profile? Okay, I'm going to walk you through this, okay, and I'm just going to ask you a couple questions that you have to answer. I can't answer these for you, but if you answer these, this will probably take you 30, 45 minutes of your life. If you answer these questions, you can tell a good story with a concise VPS and a nice, clean, clear logo, and then create all that engagement that Rebecca and I were talking about. I'm going to show you how before we leave here and take questions today. Okay, so how do I put this together, Doc? You're going to use your LinkedIn profile as your platform that you communicate to your audience your philosophy, okay? So this is the place where they come get it. This is the framework for your story. This is the container for your story. This is your digital story in social media. Okay, so what I want you to think about is, I get asked, I work with thousands of veterans and hundreds of companies a year, and they always ask, hey Doc, can you take a look at my profile? Okay, for what? Like just to look at it? Okay, I looked at it. What do you want me to do about it? Is it effective? Is it efficient? Does it do what it needs to do? Help me get a job. Help me sell more books, help me get a speaking gig, help me grow my network. Think of a clear, specific objective that you want your profile to do. That's question number one. How do you create an effective LinkedIn profile? That's what we're talking about on this slide. You create an effective profile by deciding up front, what is my objective? For me, the objective is clear. I want people to book me, and I want people to get their staff from my company. Why? Because they're military veterans. I help America. Why? I help veterans achieve meaningful, lucrative post-service careers. That's what I'm really doing here, okay? Who's my audience then? Well, military veterans, corporate America, Fortune 500 companies, hiring managers, HR directors, event planners. So there's that homework where you identified your target audience, okay? You've got a better chance of the words you use resonating with the audience if you know who they are. Speaking of words and resonation, a great tool you can use is called the American Marketing Institute's Headline Analyzer. Totally free. I use it on everything to include the title of this presentation, to include every post I make on LinkedIn, to include the title of all of my videos. You can literally type in your title and it'll tell you whether the language is emotional or intelligence or it's spiritual or whatever, and it'll rate it for you. If a professional copywriter can produce a headline worth 30% value and yours is 38, you win. If yours is 3, I'd keep looking for a title, right? American Marketing Institute Headline Analyzer. Okay. You want to run your value proposition statement through that analyzer, okay? Mine has north of 50% resonance in intellect, spirit, and emotion. That's exactly what we're talking about here today. If that's the kind of feeling that I can cause in the people that read it, hey man, this guy can help me. I think I'm gonna give him an email or a call, right? Okay. So your unique value proposition statement, you can run through that analyzer, okay? All right, now, final thing here. What is the one thing, so this goes back to your objective. What's the one thing you want your audience to do after they've read your profile? That's called a call to action. On mine, I want you to email me or call me. On yours, maybe you want them to connect with you to grow your network. On yours, because of your objective, maybe you want them to visit your website and order goods and services. So the objective number 1 links with number 4, okay? Now, this next slide appears very busy. I know, because I built it and I apologize. But what it really is, so let me show you how it works so that when you're in the comfort of your own home after this whole thing is over, you can literally step by step walk yourself through this and build an effective profile, gang. That's what we're doing here today. I'm trying to help you out. And then I'm going to show you how to engage, and then we're going to take some questions and answers, okay? So check this out. Here is my profile, and it really is an infrastructure. It's a framework for how to present my story. So number one is a picture. It's got to be a picture. And the only thing I'm going to tell you is it should be recognizable. I have people walk up to me at conferences and in airports and stop me and say, hey, you're the guy with the company that helps veterans, aren't you? They don't even remember how I do it, but they know who I am and what I do. Somebody should be able to look at your LinkedIn profile picture and recognize you. So if that thing's 9 years old, you might update it. If you're graying out and it's still you when you were blonde, you might want to update it. You want people to recognize you so they can connect you with the brand. So if they like you and it's your stuff, you want them to recognize you so they come up and talk to you. Okay, number two, you'll see that it says what? There's your value proposition statement. Veteran, founder, best-selling author, keynote speaker, helping veterans achieve meaningful, lucrative post-service careers. Right there, I tell you, you don't even need to continue reading to figure out whether I help you or not. If you're not in those demographics, you don't even need to keep reading. I can't help you. The red line is what we call above the fold. That's left over from the old days when we threw newspapers onto your driveway or a newspaper stand outside the subway, and you saw the headline and the picture, and you had to turn it over. You had to go below the fold of the newspaper to get the story. Okay, you want everything that your customer needs to assess you on above the fold. Okay, you also want your location and your number of connections to show. People use that to validate that you're a real person, that you're not somebody fishing them. Okay, number three then is an header image. Again, this all look, feel. What do I want to invoke within the reader? Hey, I'm a speaker. Hey, I help businesses. In fact, this photo, Cole and Rebecca probably noticed it right off. This is me at VIB in last year, right? That's me talking to an audience of people I love, veteran business owners, okay? Number four, you can customize your own URL, gang. Don't let it default to LinkedIn user 497 million thousand person. Put it in there, Doc Wright, bang. You type in LinkedIn plus Doc Wright, bang, first result you get, okay? That's all above the fold. Now, so here's how you continue building this out. Number five is about you. That's a first person, longer substantiating story about why you do what you do in your value proposition story. That's your summary, okay? That's the executive summary of why you do what you do for who. Your location and contact info, we talked about that. Your body of work, so articles and activities. If you click that on your LinkedIn profile, that's where you should be posting your long form articles. That's where you should be posting your short term posts, less than 300 characters, and or your comments or statements, okay? That's your body of work. It's out there in the universe. Then your education is where you show people you do what you do. So you can look at my Navy experience, you can look at my business experience, you can look at my professor experience, and it just supports or provides evidence for all the stuff I tell you up at the top, okay? Licenses and certifications, skills and endorsements, testimonials, gold. Testimonials especially. Here's who I am, here's what I do, here's who I do it for, evidence, 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 evidence. The evidence you really care about, the proof pudding, is other people saying, yep, Doc does exactly what he says he'll do, and if you reach out to him, you're gonna love the results. Bang, right? Okay, and then number 12 is activity and engagement, okay? And 13 are your interests, all right? So let's go look at activity and engagement now, because this is the magic. So when I post a video to a network full of people I know, like, and trust, that know, like, and trust me, so they're already following. When I post a video, I give a 1-paragraph intro. Here's what you're gonna see if you choose to watch this video, right? This 3-minute video, this 4-minute video, whatever. They click on the video, they watch it. They then leave comments. They like it, they hate it, they throw tomatoes, whatever they do. Here's the key. Spend your 4 to 6 hours a week doing engagement. This is what most people miss on LinkedIn. They spend thousands on videos, they spend thousands on coaches, and they post stuff and they say, hey, Doc, I just can't seem to get that traction you're talking about. I go look at their profile and I go look at how active they are in their posts and engagement, and they're wasting their money. Here's how I know. Look, if you are going to take valuable time out of your life that you will never get back, and you're going to engage with me about one of my videos or my posts, you better believe that I think you deserve a response. You deserve a thank you. You deserve a you're welcome. You deserve a thumbs up. You deserve a, hey, I really appreciate the comment. I'm sorry that you were a little dissatisfied. Tell me a little bit more about that. Let's talk about what's making you tick about that. The engagement is where the magic happens, gang. People like to be recognized and appreciated, and people like social media because it's social aspect. This is the social of social media. If you're not engaging your clients on all this stuff you're making and posting, you're missing the boat. This is where it happens. And if you're not, you're wasting every dollar that you're and an hour that you're spending on that stuff. Okay? Does that make sense? So this is one of the most important slides I can show you, which means, hey, Doc, are you saying I have to post a video every 3 days like you do? No, I'm not saying that at all. Post one video a month. That video may get 8,000 views and it may get 77 comments. But every time somebody leaves a comment, that comment was important to them. If you engage them, that video will get legs and go for months and months and months and inform your audience, entertain your audience, educate your audience, keep you in front of them on your feed. That's really the magic right there, gang, is that engagement. And then how do you assess your profile? Easy peasy. If it was, my profile is supposed to grow my network. Did your network grow over 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months? If it's to sell more books, are you selling more books? If it's to land a job, have you landed a job in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months? Again, gang, I'm a welder. I don't overthink this stuff. I built it to do a specific thing, and I take specific data and measurements and assess whether it did that thing or not. If it's to grow your revenue, is your revenue growing up? Do your revenue sources say print, media, advertising, news, TV, LinkedIn? You should see that source category of revenue going up. And gang, that's really it. That's how you do all this stuff. Now, there's a lot of work in here, okay? You got to go do the work, but that's literally it. And for those of you that would like more stuff, I'm actually putting this all in a book right now that I've distilled over helping thousands of people do this. The book is going to drop in May. And if you email me and or DM me directly through LinkedIn on launch day, I'll give it to you at author's copy price, which is $5 instead of the $19.95 that it's going to go for every day thereafter. Okay. So, and by the way, I'm a very digital dude even before COVID-19. So if you email me, if you hit me on LinkedIn, we're having a conversation 24 hours after you drop it. Okay, that's it. Rebecca, Cole, questions? Let's have a hoot of a time doing that.
All right, Doc, thanks for the information so far. A lot of the questions seem to be about how to maximize the effectiveness of LinkedIn. So we'll start with the first one. Do people need to create a separate premium profile for the tips and tricks that you've talked about today to be effective?
Okay, so if you're job hunting and or you're a recruiter, you're looking for talent, the premium LinkedIn account is amazing. Okay, like keywords and just the breadth and depth of things you can do with it is amazing. If you're talking about, hey, Doc, from just a marketing perspective, I've never had a LinkedIn premium account a day in my life. My director of career services, Kathy McGlatt, uses it. She loves it. Doc, you ought to get one of these. I'm like, nah, thanks, I'm good. I'm a low budget, cheap, get stuff done guy. So I've used my free LinkedIn profile and my home feed of engagement to create all the business, all the word of mouth, whatever. So you don't need it to do that stuff.
Perfect. Yeah, for people trying to shrink those marketing budgets, that's definitely stay cheap and utilize it the right way. Should get some miles out of it. Another question comes in, the differences between using a LinkedIn company page compared to a personal page. What are your thoughts on that approach?
Amazing. And in fact, I lived it. So when I started out, I had a personal page and I thought, well, I need to develop a company page. So I developed a company page. And then I thought, well, now people are confusing me with the brand and I'm not really the company. The company's a company. There's employees and it's paying taxes. It's a living organization. You know what I mean? It's a totally separate entity. So then I started a project to separate myself from my company. And then it hit me. If you work for a company and or you started a company and you love what you do, it's an extension of you anyway. You're going to talk about it anyway. So what I do, if you look at my YouTube channel and my LinkedIn platform and my company website, the sound bites are the same. The philosophy is the same. The things I say are the same. The look is the same. So that regardless of whether you see me on LinkedIn, you see me on YouTube, or you see me on my website, it's still Eric talking about what he does for a living, which is helping military veterans achieve meaningful, lucrative careers by placing them into corporate America who's having a talent crisis. See what I mean? So for me, what I have finally learned after 5 years is have your story should incorporate you and your business, why you did it, why you founded it, why you serve the people you serve. And so your philosophy reinforces your business execution, and what you do in the marketplace reinforces your philosophy. So Cole, I think the answer to your question, brother, the short answer is just do a really good, tight LinkedIn page about you and what you do and why and how it serves your market. And then people will check out your website and your YouTube channel. And if you're Rebecca, they'll check out your Instagram, and they'll go check out all that other stuff, but it gives them a really nice place to find you.
Yeah, the age-old advice of be really, really good at one instead of mediocre at two, right? I mean, focus on one, do the tips and tricks, and it'll be effective regardless if it's your name or the company name. But at the end of the day, how do you reach your audience best?
That's right. I should have said it like that, Cole.
Another quick question here. In terms of getting content out there, do you have any specific software? I know Rebecca mentioned a few programs that are cheap and easy to try and get some of that content unified and everything. Do you have any software for video content for those of us that aren't tech savvy enough to do any sort of editing with advanced software? You have any tips on that side?
Yeah, dude, because I'm him, right? I told you I'm a welder. I'm not a producer guy. So literally what I do is on the other side of my monitor, I have all my lights. I have my mic on a boom. I have a camera. Here's what you need, gang. To do good videos, you got to be clearly lit. You got to sound really clear, and everything's got to be stable. The videos that bounce around it makes people motion sick, right? Stability, good lighting, crisp sound. I drag mine into DaVinci Resolve. There's all kinds of free software you can use out there. I drag it into DaVinci Resolve. I add some thumbnails. I add some end cards. I add some captions. I upload it to YouTube, and then I upload it to LinkedIn. That probably takes me, I don't know, 4, 6, 8 hours a week, depending on how many videos I'm shooting or whatever. I also would encourage it, if you've got the extra money in the budget, you can get some help too. For example, I've got a company I work with, a retired Marine aviator buddy, Rich Cardona, founded Rich Cardona Media. And so he kind of teaches me how to do social media stuff and video, and I kind of teach him business stuff. And together we make a really awesome team, and our companies are growing like wildfire together. So Rich and his company, Cole, do a lot of the hard work. Like, hey, Doc, you've got 47 videos for release over the next 3 months. We'll caption and title and do all of the videos that we shot on our stuff. The stuff you're doing in your home office, you can take care of that, do it like this, use this stuff, whatever, so that when I do it, it's consistent with what he's doing. So I would tell you the LinkedIn engagement piece, don't ever outsource that. You've got to do the LinkedIn. It's got to be natural. It's got to be authentic. It's got to be sincere. It's got to be talking right to your peeps, period. But a lot of the other maintenance stuff, like the posted to Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff Rebecca was talking about, yeah, use the tools she talked about. Find somebody like Rebecca who knows all that stuff, or Rich Cardona Media, or whatever. But that's my answer.
Great. We're going a little bit over our time. You still got 1 or 2 minutes here, Doc?
I would love to share, man. I took some of their time, so let them have some of mine.
All right. One of our users, CJ, she posted that you can get a year of free premium on LinkedIn as a veteran. And so for those of you in the comments section, you can copy and paste that link. So there's one more free benefit for your service in terms of getting engaged on LinkedIn. One of our questions, we'll go to CJ's question here. What's your favorite one-liner?
My favorite one-liner, there's a lot of them because I'm a student of business. I'm a student of marketing. I mean, these are all marketing and influence and psychology books and decision-making books. And that's what's on my bookshelf. But my favorite one-liner is my one-liner, because I believe in my company so much that I tell people all the time, I run a company, I run a cause, not a company. I had a really dark, arduous transition out of 2 services. I was med boarded out of both, right? And if you've ever been released from service, that sucks. If you've ever been med boarded out of a service, that sucks times 100, right? So it took me 12 years to figure all this out. I wandered around in a job desert, is the way I like to say it. I grew up Southern Baptist. I wandered around a job desert for 12 years trying to figure this out, because I spoke naval nuclear propulsion and leadership, and nobody in the civilian workforce cared. They don't have any nuclear submarines, right? They don't care. So my favorite one-liner is, we help corporate America solve its talent crisis problem by employing veterans, which helps them achieve meaningful, lucrative post-service careers. In one paragraph, in 9 seconds or less, if you sit down next to me on an airplane and you see my pocket square, Christopher Costa at pocketsquareheroes.com, by the way. If you see my pocket square, or you see my vans that are all red, white, and blue striped with stars and stuff, like, you literally know, like, this dude's patriotic somehow. The mustache wax, all of it's to start a conversation. Conversation about what? About the social cause, about the movement I'm creating, which is military veterans deserve meaningful, lucrative post-service careers when they're done taking care of the rest of us. That's just what I believe, right? So that's my favorite one-liner, and I just got goosebumps.
And you can tell that it's rehearsed and radiates through a lot of your various engagement platforms. So there's another lesson to be learned there. It's a one-liner, but it can also be, a paragraph or two. It can be a quick pitch. It can be a lot of different things, because you can expand upon it. We've got a question in here for somebody who is just horrible at social media, doesn't do it, doesn't have it on their phone. What's the best way to get started? What are the first few steps you would suggest to get into the social media game?
What an awesome question. And I would love to, I'll give my short answer, and then I'll let Rebecca talk about this, because this is really kind of her area of expertise. But, I can't even spell Facebook. I don't do Facebook on my device. You'll hear people talk about use the native platforms. Man, it took me months to figure out what the heck they were talking about, the social media guys. I'm like, what does that even mean, native platform? What it means is, which apps do you use when you're not at work? So for example, I use LinkedIn to talk to people and meet people and tell jokes and learn professional stuff, and like how to wear a pocket square. And I use LinkedIn all the time on my leisure time. So for me, that's a native platform. Plus, it's also the platform where 80% of the business B2B is generated. It's a platform where one of every decision maker in every Fortune 500 company, according to LinkedIn, is on that platform. So when I do social media, what I really mean is, I know how to spell LinkedIn. So all of my videos, all of my articles, all of my content, they go to LinkedIn. Now, do I upload my videos to my YouTube channel? You bet I do. Why? Because I've got to have a place to store all those videos and all of that philosophy, that body of work, right? But LinkedIn is what I would use. So to answer your question, build a profile, codify your philosophy, start releasing your philosophy over time, once or twice a week, in terms of a 2-3 minute video and or short articles. There's where I would start. Just write down sound bites. What do I believe? Why do I believe it? Here's what I believe. Make it a paragraph or two. Just start releasing that stuff. And the magic is in the engagement. So if you release a soundbite or a short post and somebody likes it or comments on it and says, oh my God, you know what? I never thought about it that way. You absolutely changed my life. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you said that. What resonated? What questions do you have? Whatever. You literally can use that engagement to help you make the post for the next week. So I would say start with LinkedIn, build a profile, codify your body of work, your philosophy, come up with a value proposition statement, and then just start doing it. Just start talking about what you believe and why you believe it and who your customer is and why they're your customer and how you can help them, and just engage with the content that you release. And just focus on LinkedIn and find somebody like a Rebecca or a Rich Cardona Media or whatever that can help you do Instagram and Facebook and tweet. I don't even know what it's called. Twitter. Do Twitter.
Yeah, that's what it is. Tweety. And so also let me just like Doc said, just do it. That's the hardest thing, is not to feel like you're silly doing this social media. It really is, there really is some real value in it. So I also have a printing company, and how we use social media is we actually take pictures of the jobs that we've done, and we say, hey, you know what, Diego and Son, we just did this project here. This was a 4-color job, a brochure, whatever. And then if it's a project that we are doing for, let's say, a foundation or for a particular client, we link them. So LinkedIn is great, but also linking people to what you're doing. So if you are in construction and you just finished a project, or you have, some cement that you just did, it looks awesome, take some photos, write a little something, hey, just finished this project, happy to work with, let's say, Southern California Edison, link them, and then link the VIB. We have almost 15,000 followers. I'm opening this up to you. So feel free to LinkedIn. Hey, proud to be part of LinkedIn, or just link us, and we will always share, we'll comment, we'll be that engagement for you as well. And, like Doc said, if you have any questions as, you start working on this, we at the VIB are always here for you. We can help you. We can try to walk you through some of this, understanding some of this social media things. And it's all lessons learned, though. And so how we did social media at the very beginning when we started VIB is completely different to how we're doing it now. So it's just doing it consistently. And maybe you set yourself like every Tuesday and Thursday, I'm going to get on and share, I'm going to post something about, a new equipment that we bought or something. People actually love to see that business is getting done and who we're all working with. So that's just my 2 cents.
And one more door prize, okay? So because if you've got scarce time and you're going to do this activity, hey, Doc, you sink 8 hours a week in LinkedIn, brother. What's the return on your investment? Here's another trick. And it took me 3 months of my coach pounded on my head, Cardona, pounded on my head like, Doc, I just need you to do it, man. Just quit arguing with me about it and do it, right? And it lit my activity on fire, gang. I'm telling you, 100x type return. When you post a video, when you like, when you comment, when you engage the people. So that's step one. You got to engage. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what camera you use. It doesn't matter how long your videos are. It's the engagement. Now, here's a trick. This is amazing. It will set your network on fire. When people go in, like for example, Rebecca will go in and like or comment on a video, right? If she's a second or third connection, so when you see the people who've liked your stuff, hit the ellipses, the 3 dots, the more, hit it, scroll all the way to the bottom. The second and third connections are at the bottom. These are people who saw you, liked you, heard you, resonated with you, and took time out of their life to watch your stuff, engage with your stuff, and liked it in public. They're fans. You just haven't connected with them yet. So literally, I have turned off connect button on my LinkedIn profile. It only says follow. Only if you connect with me through DM or something do we actually connect, right? Here's why. Because every day, 15 minutes a day, I look at all the videos that are still circulating that have legs, and I scroll down to the second and third connections, and I just send them invites. Hey, I'd love to connect with you. Love to connect with you. Love to connect with you. And a lot of times I get half a dozen rejections a week. Well, I don't know you. I don't whatever. And I don't care because I can't help them or they can't help me. Most of those people become people in my network. So what do you think they're going to do when I release future videos and future articles and future whatever? What do you think they're going to do? They like it, they share it, they talk about it, they forward it. You know what I mean? And now it's getting legs through my LinkedIn network and it gets legs through theirs because they decided it was worthy for their network. And again, that's the key to making all this happen. Okay, so those 2 things right there, if you engage with the people who engage with you and you invite the people who like your stuff voluntarily to engage with you and be in your network, you win.
Yeah, for my construction brother Henry, who asked this question, I'm going to take it even one step simpler since I'm also in construction, and I'll let Doc or Rebecca reprimand me later if I speak out of turn. But I'm a big fan. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. So if you know another construction company, let's say one of the big guys, go to their social media page, go to their LinkedIn. How do they post? Copy, paste, edit to make it personal to you, and hit post. I mean, literally, if you ain't cheating, if you're not stealing, if you're not at least copying some of their content, then that to me is the easiest place to start. Let them do the hard work of figuring out what to post. Then you just copy, paste, edit, add your own picture or whatever. And then that's an easy way to get the ball rolling. From there, you can kind of start to build your own content, but copy from the guys that are doing it well right now. So.
And Cole, that's even a technique, brother. It's called content curation. Like it's a thing. You just got to make sure you attribute them and then you're golden. It's fantastic.
Wow. So I think we had one more question in terms of monetizing your social media platforms. I think I'm going to table that question. That's kind of a separate topic that runs parallel to this topic, but that's basically making business on social media as opposed to through social media. So we're going to go ahead and table this. I also just want to add one comment. This exercise, even if you do not necessarily do B2B work, like for example, I'll use myself. I'm a federal construction contractor. A lot of my stuff has to do with a public bid and it's evaluated on lowest price. So in terms of generating business through LinkedIn, that's not a main avenue for my particular business. But the activity and the exercise of codifying your philosophy, of writing down your value proposition statement, there is no shot clock on LinkedIn. You can take the time to develop these concepts and to develop what your values are, so that in those instances when you're face to face with somebody and you have that quick 30 to 60 seconds to make your elevator pitch, you've already done your homework. You know exactly how to say it because you've taken the time to develop it and to work through this process and putting it online. And so it's definitely a good exercise. Absolutely, if you do B2B, absolutely in terms of growing your network. But if you don't see the revenue or return on investment side, trust me, there is still value in working through these processes that Doc has described today. Because if you're at some sort of face-to-face with a contracting officer at a site visit, going through these processes definitely helps you describe and sell your business regardless. And so with that, Doc, I will give you the closing words.
Hey, man, I couldn't have said it any better, brother. This is you being able to relate your story clearly, concisely, and quickly so that you don't put your folks on treadmills, man, right? So that's what I would say is everything you do, just simplify it. Don't put somebody on a treadmill to understand what you're trying to communicate to them. And if it's valuable, it'll resonate with them and you'll increase your business demand, you'll increase your revenue, you'll increase your business's longevity. Thanks, VIB Network, for having me. Cole, Rebecca, as always, you guys are giants. I love you and appreciate you. And I'll see you guys in Sacramento when all this thing blows over in October.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your time, Doc. To all of our attendees, thank you for your time. We appreciate it. We know we've gone long. You will receive a copy of the presentation, and a recording will be posted both on our website, on our YouTube. We will also be doing the engagement through our social media. So thanks again, everyone. Please stay healthy, stay safe, and follow the directions so that we can get through all of this COVID-19 crisis. Thanks again. Be safe. Bye-bye.